When playing games, there's plenty of things to worry about. Will I make it to the end of the level? Can I keep my party alive through the final mission? How long to download a 50GB day one patch? But then there are the worries that plague our gaming that really aren't things we need to be concerned about. Those little pointless worries that pop up in the brain of every player, including the members of Outside Xtra and Outside Xbox. Here then are the dumb things we get stressed about in games. Why can't we just relax?
YouTube, I brought you here today to talk to you about one of my deepest, most heartfelt anxieties, because you're cheaper than therapy. And I ask you, YouTube, what could be more stressful? What could be more anxiety inducing than the prospect of losing time itself, which is what happens if your autosave corrupts, or if autosave somehow fails you, and then you're left without an autosave and you have to wheel all the way back to a manual save from hours ago, or maybe there isn't even a manual save system, who knows?
Have you ever had that happen?
I feel like it's happened, and that's my reality. And I am always just a little bit worried when the Xbox or whatever is like, well, this thing is spinning or running or filling up or, you know, doing its little animation. Don't turn off the console, because who knows what might happen. Vague threat, you know? Vague threats freak me out, okay? And what happens if I, you know, I in a cloud of not paying attention, I just set down my controller and turn off my Xbox, and oh no, there goes the autosave. Which is why obviously you have to save every 4 minutes with preferably with some sort of systematic numbering, so you know exactly where each of those save states was. I give you Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance. I don't know what the autosave is doing in that game, but I don't trust it. Do not trust it, not ready to trust it, not with my Arthur Morgan. Some things are just too important to leave to autosave, okay?
What about games that don't have those manual saves?
Well, that's even worse, isn't it? I just have to leave my console on forever until I finish the game. Like, I don't want my hard drive to corrupt. I don't want my save to corrupt. I don't want my save to disappear.
Do you ever miss the icon? Like, you just don't see it, and then you don't know if your game's...
No, I never miss the icon. I'm staring right at the autosave icon, waiting for it to finish its little spinny thing or its runny thing or whatever it's doing. I'm just very focused.
Do you worry that maybe the animation finishes but it's not actually done safe?
Yes, because it's just an animation. The Xbox could be lying. It could be fine. It could be absolutely fine. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know people who whatever. It's like not ejecting a USB stick properly. Probably it's going to be fine, but what if it's not?
I've had it be not.
Ellen's had it be not fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but they're not the same thing, are they? Like, yeah, eject your hard drives, but the autosave's probably all right.
how do you know?
Well, because
How would you ever know?
But it's never failed.
Yeah, but what if it does? What about when it does? You're a terrible therapist, Luke.
Sorry.
Just let me catastrophize in peace.
Sorry.
Even that was a challenge. 2 years. All the top scientists.
What do you mean? Cloning? Cybernetics?
Hello. If you're anything like me, you will spend a lot of time in character creators when you open up your favorite RPGs. But sometimes the worry is that you'll do something on one of those sliders and then you'll look a bit weird. And it's it's a big fear for me, because even though it doesn't affect the gameplay or anything, the game is still just as good. But what if you make it so that the shape of the character that you've made, their face, doesn't quite fit the animations. So when they talk, they're a little bit weird.
I think I remember a Wilson checking on me one time when I woke up.
I find it happens a lot where the mouth, it's always around the mouth. That's why most games like this are nah, they don't talk. It's just text boxes. Because otherwise you kind of get someone who's talking a little bit like that, and it looks weird. If you you got to do the twisty. Because otherwise, like, you'll do this and they look normal, and then they turn that way and it goes. It's like, oh my god.
Or there's one slider and you're like, oh, this slider doesn't seem to do anything.
Oh yeah, you're
And
like,
then you
nah,
find-
oh, that didn't do anything. And then you turn them to the side and like their cheeks go inwards now. It's like, oh my god. In Mass Effect Andromeda, I made a character that very much, I tried to make her look as much like me as possible. But what it does is it changes your dad. And my father character had really intense eyes. And he's just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't want to see this character ever again. Oh, he dies. Good, get that done. It was almost a relief because he looked so weird. And then the other thing as well is you could put a load of work in and then you go and find some equipment and then you end up wearing a helmet for the entire thing and you don't even see it anyway. There are a few games that are really, really good and let you take off the helmet. There's BioWare's Mass Effect. You could have it so that your ship didn't have a helmet on. Another one of my favourites.
Here it comes.
Kingdoms of Amalur has a toggle. So if I'm wearing my archer's cowl, I can take it off. But like, there is always that worry that they just won't look right. When you start the game and you see them next to other characters and you go, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it right.
Would you then restart the game completely? Or do you sort of muscle through with your bad character?
So I'll go back. I'll go back and try and remake it.
Do you know anything about this attack? Who's behind it? What they're after?
Damned if I know.
That first hour of the game is just there's the fear. There's the fear.
So I love, like, story-based RPGs. But the problem with that is that I have a paralyzing fear of experiencing skill tree regret. When you find yourself in a situation where you have plunged a load of your experience points or your skill tree options into skills and abilities that render you completely useless against a giant boss or in a certain circumstance and force you to play the game the way you don't want to play it. When I played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, one of my favorite games, I played as a Toreador, which is the sexy vampire, and I put all of my skill points into being sexy, which was super useful in occasions where you have to talk to people.
Yeah, okay. Alright, this way. This will lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
The only problem is that that game does force you into combat every so often, and I found myself desperately trying to seduce a giant, horrible sewer monster, when actually the only thing you can really do with it is hit it with a hammer. I really don't think I was that monster's type. I'm, constantly spending all my time in games staring at the skill tree going, what is the skill I want and what is the skill I will actually need, and have I got both of those things wrong anyway? So I just find myself gripped by this fear, which means that I end up just not really spending the skill points, just in case I can reactively spend them later on to solve a problem. For a start, it means that I'm somewhat less powerful in regular combat situations because I'm saving them. And the other thing is that quite often there's just a notification on the screen saying, spend your skill points! And if we do it in a Let's Play, everyone watching the video is like, spend your skill points! And I'm like, no, I need to save them. The remedy for this is probably just not to play the game the way I want to play it. You just, instead of like focusing on the chatting and the talking, which is the bit of an RPG I really like, what I should really be doing is putting all my skill points into combat and just making sure that if I do end up in a face-to-face fight with a horrible invisible cyborg lady or something, I can just shoot her in the head or something. Do what you're supposed to do what they want you to do, basically. Play it the way they want you to play it. Sucks.
I always just go for the health and attack power. Ignore all the specialist nonsense.
Yeah, again.
Ledge takedowns, no. Health.
Water takedown, no.
No.
Yeah, there are ways around it, but you know, like if you're trying to play the game in the way that an RPG should allow you to play it, quite often you're going to hit this roadblock. So yeah, skill tree regret, very real phenomenon and something I am rightfully terrified of.
Yeah, but Mike, there are some games that don't give you skill tree regret because you can reset your skill tree
such as the wonderful Kingdoms of
Here's something that bothers me. Do you think that the bosses in video games win on points? Let me explain. When you fight a boss in a video game, it's not unusual for that boss to kill you a number of times. And then you win, and the game's like, that's it, that's the one that counted. And sometimes I just wonder if that's unfair. Or if it's, like sometimes I'll come away from a boss encounter and just feel like, yes, I won once. Why is, I just have this, you're supposed to feel when you do a boss fight, you're supposed to feel good about it. You're supposed to feel like I came away, I'm the victor, I've progressed in the game, I got past something really, really difficult and challenging. It was hard at first, but I stuck with it, and in the end I could do it. But did I though? Or did I just sort of get lucky once? I think if I was the boss, I would just be looking at the numbers, looking at a little tally chart and being like, why am I dead forever? why am I canonically not coming back? Why are they the hero?
Traditional boss fights is something that you learn from. So the point is that you're supposed to die over and over.
But is it fair on the bosses to just be like a step on your hero's story?
Yeah.
If I was, I don't know.
It's a game.
I know, but especially when you meet a boss that has a lot of personality or a lot of character. Some of the ones in Dark Souls springs to mind because that's a game where you have a lot of time to think about how much you're dying and how much you're getting your butt whooped by a boss. Some of those bosses have a lot of character and a lot of personality, and they have all these backstories, and it's just.
But they also have horrible moves that you can't dodge unless
yeah, but
you learn.
No one has a more horrible move than you, because your move is they beat you, they're like, whew, what a relief. And then you come back and stab them again. You're the ultimate nightmare. A good boss is one that you can empathise with. And if it's a really tricky one, you spend a lot of time with them. I know some of the Dark Souls bosses better than I know close friends. I certainly know their attacks better. I certainly see their moves more clearly telegraphed. When you're really studying them, you spend a lot of time looking at them, and there's nothing else to do while you're watching the loading screens as you boot back in for another go, except just to wonder, what are they like? What are they up to in their spare time? What have they got going on? Just from their point of view, you're just back again and again and again. It's nightmarish for them. The only release is when you finally kill them. I can't silence the little voice that just asks, did the boss win ultimately on points?
No.
Yes, it bothers me.
I'm someone who really enjoys getting an achievement, but occasionally, I just worry that, I'll miss one. It's because a couple of times in older games, there have been achievements that are tied to things that are time dependent in games. And then because that's happened to me once, I now have the fear that it will happen in every other game. And just like to shout out to Assassin's Creed 3 for doing that to me. To be honest, you can play through a game and it's absolutely fine. You don't have to get all the achievements, and you still get a really well-rounded experience.
So why does it bother you if you miss one?
Because I could have got 10G, man. I often look through the achievements before I fully get into a game.
What?
Mm-hmm. And I do it less and less. I don't do it too often because I don't want to spoil games for myself. So I've not done it for big Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't want to spoil that while I was playing it.
So annoying when there's an achievement. I think I would have easily have got that if I'd known about it while I was doing it.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to read the achievements.
Yeah.
And potentially spoil something.
I went and picked up Mirror's Edge Catalyst again the other week because I had to get some capture for a list we were doing. And I was there, I just picked up 5 achievements because I was like, oh, I'm not done this achievement, I'm gonna go and try it. And then I did it, and it was really easy to do. Whereas there was one achievement in it where right at the beginning of the game, instead of running out of prison or kind of walking at a jog, you had to walk really, 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 really slowly. And fortunately, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is one of these excellent games that has mission replay, so I hadn't missed it. But there was the fear. It really came in. I was like, am I going to have to play through the entire prologue again just to get to this bit?
I
But it was fine.
no. You've always not getting the achievement.
But I want the achievement. Like when I played Dishonored, clean hands, so you don't kill anyone, you don't get seen. You finish the game and also you get an achievement for finishing the game with the good ending. And I got 200G pop all at once and I was like,
What's your guys' school life like? I just you deprived of gold stars or something?
I think it was because I got the gold stars.
Oh, I see.
That I
rush.
was hooked. One occasion I did actually go through and replay the entirety of Assassin's Creed 3 because there's a special achievement for completing a book. But the book mission was like 10G. And I replayed Assassin's Creed 3 to get that 10G. That's the worst. Luke's face, right?
Is 10G good?
No. But I wanted it. I wanted.
Would 1000G good?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you get points. It's like, well done. People go on your gamer profile and they see how many gamer score you have and they're like, wow, they've played a lot of games.
Do people do that? Do people look at other people's profiles and be impressed?
Yeah, and then also Xbox have
Do you
this.
look at other people's profiles and be impressed?
Yeah, I'm like, good for them. Sometimes I'm like, wow, they've played a lot of games. But it doesn't have any effect on the enjoyment that I've had in the rest of the game. You can just play through the game and enjoy the game, as Luke obviously does, and not give a crap about, but did I get the achievement? I do.
The thing I'm going to talk about is the constant worry when playing an online multiplayer game, a shooter or otherwise, that you're coming last. And then at the end of the game, everyone's going to see that you came last, and your shame will echo through the ages forever. This is something that plays on my mind a lot, particularly in online shooters. The way that online shooters work, there tends to be an ebb and a flow to things. So you'll be doing well for a bit, and then you'll have a bit of a lapse, and things will go badly for a while. And then hopefully towards the end, things pick up, and you get more kills, and you finish, and you think, okay, that was fine, that was a good round. But it's when you get into that little trough, and it just carries on going, and you do that thing where you keep bringing up the results table during the match to see how you're doing, and you're slowly going down the rankings. You're like, got to turn this around, got to turn this around, got to turn this around. And then you see where the person above you is. You go, okay, just 2 more kills, and I can move up 1. But then you check, and they've got 2 more kills as well. By this point, you're spending more time looking at the table than you are actually playing the game, which isn't helping.
Take cover!
Yeah, it's trying to avoid that horrible moment where you finish the round and it just pops up the results, and you're just there right at the bottom, and everyone else is like, well, you don't know, because I turn off voice chat, obviously, because why do I want to hear what people are saying? But at the end of the round, and you're just like, oh no, they're probably all thinking what an idiot I am. The very worst thing that can possibly happen is if it has a sort of final kill cam in the game, and you're the one being killed at the end of the game. Yeah, those are always mortifying. The worst example of this recently is Apex Legends, because when you're loading into Apex Legends, it shows everyone how many kills you've got ever in the game. There was a long time of playing Apex Legends before I managed to kill anyone, because that, it's a battle royale game. A valid strategy in battle royale is hiding, and then when you actually get into combat, it's quite hard. So there was a good week of playing Apex Legends where it was like, Andy has killed no one, and he's on your team. And I was just imagining these guys with all these kills just going, all right.
Are you not quite forgiving of other people when you see someone has to come last? It doesn't mean they're...
Oh yeah, it never bothers me at all when I see it, unless someone's had an absolute nightmare of a game, in which case I will obviously send them a message calling them a noob scrub. I mean, that's how it works. No, I don't...
I don't consider it at all, but disproportionately in my head when I'm playing, I imagine everyone else really pays attention to the league tables. I imagine they're just looking at it and just judging every single person on it. So if most people are like me, then they don't, but I can't shake the feeling that most online gamers are just ruthlessly judging everyone else. And you know, it affects the way you play. When you start to get into that dry patch of kills in a game, it sort of adds to that. You get the psychological weight of the league table starts to weigh heavy on you, and you start playing a bit more recklessly, trying to get more kills, and that's you get killed more because you're not playing the way you should be playing. It's a big worry.
Back again with another thing, another nasty worry, is that I'm using my items and inventory things at the wrong time. I'm a little bit of a hoarder when it comes to playing through a game, especially with things like ammunition and health items. I very, very much fall into the trap of thinking I won't use this now, it'll be more useful later, and so I never use items and I just let them stack up in my inventory, not getting used. Meanwhile, I'm dying all the time, getting sad about bosses, and just generally having a terrible time playing video games. Some games that are especially bad for this, Skyrim, I think. In Skyrim, I always have about 50 health potions or something in my inventory, and when I get into a fight, and I get hurt, I will hold off on using the health item because I'm like, I'm not going to use it now in this little encounter. This isn't a health potion situation. I'll feel really stupid later when I'm fighting a dragon if I've used all my health potions later fighting this thing. Forgetting, of course, the fact that if a game is good, it will generally give you as much stuff as you need. You know, if it's well balanced. Ammunition's a big one as well. Like if you get like a special weapon. Like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher or something, and like the ammo is really scarce and it's only got a few shots, I'll just be like, wait, it's not the time yet. And then the credits roll and you're like, probably was the time. Probably before the credits roll was the time to use that ammunition that I was saving up. I guess it's a fear of regret. It must be a fear. What I'm actually scared of is being in like a big fight or a big battle and having no ammunition and no health potions and being like, I was such an idiot when I use those things. But, you know, like just use items. Like if you have them, just use them.
You know boss battles and stuff are coming because there's always a big pile of ammunition right before them.
Yes, exactly. A very fine point. A game will often arrive at a pre-boss scenario where it's like, stock up on health, stock up on ammo, and I'm like, got no room. I bought it all. I bought it all with me. I have this bad habit where like if my health gets cut in half, I'll be like, I don't think I'll get hit again. I won't, not now. Now's not the time. Now's not the time to use a health potion. No.
But it is sensible though, because if you get a rocket launcher and there's just like a weak zombie character in that, and you just use all your rockets on these like really weak characters.
But what's the right character to use it on, James?
Something a little bit harder, right? Something
yeah, but how do you know? But then the harder thing comes along and you're like, well, this isn't going to be the hardest thing in the game though, is it? At the end of the game, it should give you back all of your ammo in cash. Actual real world cash. That would be good. That would be good. As a sort of, you know, like maybe only a few quid, but kind of rebate against the, you know, purchasing the game in the first place. You're like, hey, you made it through, you didn't. Hey, like this could be the new microtransactions. You might want to write this down, major publishers.
Don't give them ideas.
But yeah, holding on to things, worrying about using items. It's a big one for me.
That's it. That's all you. Guess it's all clear now.
So those are just some of the little things that worry us while we play games that shouldn't. We should just get on with enjoying the game. It's just stressing us out for no reason. We've got enough real things to be stressed about. Like, you know, is that boss gonna flatten me? But no, we're like, oh wait, I'm gonna save this rocket launcher. What if I need that rocket launcher for like a special 10G achievement use? But what are the little things that you worry about while you're playing games? What are the things that stress you out that really, you know, we've got to the point in games now that we don't need to stress about them. They've been sorted, or they should have been. If you haven't sorted them, get on it, games. But let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you should check out this video up on Outside Xbox about little details in games that were really good. And then you should check out this one on us about creepy Pokemon. They were fine at first, but now they're creepier.